Quiet on the set.
5 count.
5, 4, 3.
Hey Mepham, welcome back to the Midweek Update.
This week we take a look at the time it takes freshmen to adjust to a new environment, driver safety around MEPM, Math Honor Society, and we give the newest episode of Give Us a Minute, We'll Give You a Month.
This and more as we take a look on what's going on this week on the Midweek Update. I'm Stephen Soel.
And I'm Jacob Sarduy. And welcome back to the Midweek Update, the B&B show that brings you closer to the people and places in and around the MEPM community.
Jacob, how are we already through 2 months of the school year?
Stephen, I actually have no idea. I feel like I spent most of these 2 months just adjusting to junior year.
Me too, but imagine how hard it is for the freshmen who are just entering MEPM.
I actually don't have to imagine because I made a package to tell us all about that.
The disparity from freshmen to seniors at MEPM is clear, and it's easy to see why. The freshman class are transitioning from a comfort that is no longer available to them. Ms. Rubenstein sees the transition firsthand with her students.
I think it's really tough. They have a lot more independence and freedom at MEPM than they do at Grand. And at Grand, there's only 2 grades. So at MEPM, there's 4 grades. There's a lot more kids. The school's bigger. And I just think that things are a little bit more stricter and they're treated more as adults here than they are at Grand. So it's a big eye-opener for them, I think, once they get here.
The transition from 8th to 9th grade is terrifying for many, and while the overwhelming rush of adulthood falls upon the students, freshman Victor Korolak has finally started to figure everything out.
It felt like having to adjust to, for example, going from elementary school to middle school. It's always a stressful process and it takes time to adjust. But after the first month or first few weeks, that was fine.
Freshmen, obviously, when they're coming in, they're nervous about a new school, finding all their classes. They're nervous that these grades are going to go on their transcript, meeting new teachers, bigger school, more kids. And it's just like the stress of being the youngest kid. So they're, it's a new beginning for them and they just want to get off to a good start and they're not really sure what's to come, so it's kind of like they're nervous about the future.
On the other side of the spectrum, seniors. While they already know the ins and outs of their school, many of them seem to have another added stress with the hovering worry of deadlines and colleges nearing soon. The stress of the upcoming school year can be seen in both freshmen and seniors, but it's clear that seniors have different stresses than freshmen. While the freshmen stress about losing themselves in the school, the seniors are stressed about finding themselves in the real world. For B&B, I'm Jacob Sarduy.
Thanks, Jacob, I guess.
You're so welcome, Stephen.
Jacob, how do you have the energy today? It's kind of scaring me.
I know, it's so weird, especially since I got up so early today for driver's ed.
I'm scared for the day they let you out on the road.
Hey, that's mean. Don't be scared. They teach us all about how to drive safely, but just in case you guys don't take driver's ed, Peter Horacek is here to inform us about driver safety in the senior parking lot.
Brianna Goodman was an average MEPM student. She is involved in sports, challenges herself with rigorous courses, and, like everybody else, she comes to school to further her education. But what everybody doesn't know is that she experienced something horrific back in May of 2023.
I was walking to school and I got out in front of MEPM High School and I was ready to cross the street when all of a sudden a car struck me and next second I knew I was on the floor in front of my school.
Car accidents in New York are worryingly common. Approximately 10 people are killed in New York or seen in hospitals due to car crashes caused by a teen driver every day. Dr. Karn, the senior parking lot coordinator, explained some of the preventable reasons that car accidents may occur.
Safety is first and foremost. The distracted driving that is out there is real, and it just takes one time before something could happen, and to always be aware of that and to always make sure that your phones are off, you're not distracted, and you're always taking the best precautions to ensure a successful day every day.
According to the New York State Department of Health, the crash contributing factors that most commonly result in incapacitating and fatal injuries for drivers aged 16 and 17 include unsafe speed, driver inexperience, failure to yield right-of-way, driver distraction, and alcohol involvement. As of the 2023 school year, a number of car accidents have occurred following the cohort of seniors receiving their driver's licenses. Kevin White, a senior at Mepham, shares his experiences.
It was after school. My car was parked along the front line over here, and then we had football practice, so I was inside, and I came out and I saw on the driver's side the door was dented and there's a bunch of scratch marks on the side of the car.
Luckily, the administration team has put a great deal of thought into remedying the driving situation at Mepham and making the school area safer for the students.
One thing that I can think of from last year that's somewhat innocuous but had a pretty big impact on the morning was our parking lot, for example. The flow of traffic coming into the parking lot from Camp Avenue was creating some traffic concerns in the morning. So I was able to collaborate with teachers and Dr. Karn and Mr. Safina, Mr. Del Rosario, Mr. McHugh, and our security staff. And I feel like we really came to a nice procedure for the parking lot to make things operate more smoothly.
Clearly, administration is aware and working to rectify the issue. But the problem continues. Local community members have pitched in and shared not only their opinions, but strategies they believe can reduce accidents and congestion.
People have to be more careful when they're driving because everyone thinks it's never going to be them who gets in the accident, but then when it does, it's shocking.
Watching the speed, obeying the speed signs that are up there or the speed limits.
Today, Brianna Goodman is back in good health, succeeding in all of her classes, and has even returned to her physical sports. However, one question remains. Has the BMCHSD done enough to prevent future incidents from happening? For BNB, I'm Peter Horacek.
I feel a lot better knowing you watched that package about the importance of driver safety.
Enough to let me drive you?
Let's not push it.
According to my calculations, there's a solid 80% chance that I get you to where you need to be. Or we might end up at Duncan.
Well, unless you're in Math Honor Society, I don't trust your calculations. Although I do trust Midweek Update producer Brianna Boland's calculations.
Thanks, guys. I'm here at the Mepham Auditorium where yesterday the Math Honor Society inductions were held. Seniors who attained an average of 93 or greater across Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2 were recognized for their continued successes and devotion to mathematics.
The principal purpose of New Alpha Theta is to stimulate a deeper and more effective interest in mathematics.
Congratulations to all students who were honored. For more on the event, watch this Friday's upcoming morning announcements. That's it for me. For B&B, I'm Brianna Boland.
Thanks, Bree. It's really nice to see your face back on Midweek Update.
I 100% agree.
Hey, Steven, you know we're nearing the end of October, and do you remember anything that's happened these past few months?
If I'm being honest, I can't remember anything. But I do recall some events that B&B has covered this year so far.
Well, that's okay because Sofia Valladares is here to introduce our next segment.
Thanks, guys. Wow, I can't believe it's already the end of October. Here at B&B, it's been a packed month, and it's always so exciting to look back on such a busy month. Let's take a look at the months of September and October within a minute.
I'm Brianna Boland.
I'm Cumulonimbus Cho.
I'm Sammy Rooney.
I'm Sid Alisetti, and I've got your week from Mepham Sports.
Frank Pagano, Elizabeth Roche-Munoz,
Peter Scotto.
Today, Jake Classy. Tiana Freekoff. Welcome to this year's first Midweek Update.
It's been a busy start to the year. I can't believe how much we've done. From film festivals to sports, B&B has had an eventful fall. I can't wait to see what else B&B has upcoming. Well, that's all for me. I've been Sofia Valladares. Now back to you guys.
Thanks, Sophia. It's always great to see a new face here on B&B that isn't Jacob.
I'm literally right here.
I know.
Well, anyways, one of our biggest events that we cover is our sports.
That was the worst segue into our sports segment that I've ever heard, Jacob.
You're just jealous that I can make anything work.
Makayla, please take it away.
Thanks, guys. I'm so happy to be back on Midweek Sports. Mepham Athletics was very busy this past weekend, so let's dive right back into it. Friday after school, the girls' soccer team fell short to Herrick's with a score of 3-1 and played New Hyde Park on Monday in their first round playoff matchup. They will travel to Southside tomorrow in the second round matchup, so best of luck to them. Also on Friday, the boys' varsity volleyball team had their senior night, where they beat Freeport 3-0. On Monday, the boys took on Valley Stream Central, and today they travel to Oceanside. Both Saturday and Sunday, the girls' volleyball team faced off against Manhasset, and they took both wins. Last night, the girls played Long Beach in the Pirates' senior night. The football team took on the Generals of MacArthur on Saturday and had a devastating loss with a score of 24-19. As the playoff season is in full swing, good luck to all of our Mepham teams still competing. For VMB, I'm Makayla Daube. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Makayla. Another face that I have missed dearly from Midweek Update.
Jacob, you've been saying how you've missed all these faces, but you never said anything about me.
Anyways, before we end this week's episode of Midweek Update, Miss Geller is currently looking for seniors and teachers that own cars to help out at this year's trunk or treat. Just sign up using the QR codes that are in the hallways of Mepham. Your help is greatly appreciated.
Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Midweek Update. We'll be back next week with all new stories in and around the BMCHSD to bring you the inside parts of the community you don't always get to see.
Until then, I'm Jacob Sarduy.
And I'm Stephen Soel, and we will see you all next midweek.
Come here. According to my calculations.
Dude, shut up.
Sorry.